I had a go at everybody this morning, journalists in particular, and I want you to realise this is for the National, Callum Beard, and also to say to you that my father finished up as a reader in the Herald. All our families, both my mother's family and my father's family, were all involved in newspapers, etc. My father was an FOC at um, Albion Street, and the Sunday papers, etc. And he did work for in Port Dundas for John Lang, DC Thompson, and John Lang, and was one of the representatives that went to um, the House of Lords to verify that DC Thompson and John Lang had refused them to have a union. They had locked them out, and they couldn't do that, and first of all, I was lambasting the National because this business of you're letting everybody say and have their piece, etc. And Alex Salmon had said something about the Queen's to keep out. I'll not be saying it right because he would get me that angry because I want to be working with him. And the other thing is, I don't want to be a politician. I'd rather eat worms. And see, when people hear that, that's when they think, oh, I'll pick our brains and I'll use that and that. Dubious people jumping out of Labour into SNP and all the rest of it. You'll know them by their fruits. Take a look at Knightswood, which was the gem, Donald Dewar's patch. Bloody disgrace. And the other thing I wanted to say was, I want you to know that Pat Kane, now, what do you not owe Pat Kane? Because he is so excellent a journalist, and I read Fintan O'Toole and all these people, and Caravan, um, and Patrick Harvey, and although I've got dual nationality, and although I can vote when I live in America, I can vote there, and the thing about who I vote for, I vote for people. I try and figure it out, etc. But I'm so grateful to Pat Kane that he has been telling me about books, Mr. Pinketti, and also Patrick Harvey told me about Avaz, and there's another book, and it's about when I found out that you couldn't really get fresh yeast anymore. That's when I started searching and searching things, and another book, and I've been advertising that on my website as well, and it's somebody that's just letting people know about who owns what, and for a country that makes whiskey, and deals with barley, and we don't even own porridge, for goodness sake. Anyway, all of this is a shock, and I don't know what possessed me, but last night I thought, you know what? Let me get this out because let's deal with the bottom line here. But as far as the National goes, I'm so grateful, and when it comes to next time around with Trump, there isn't any way that I would vote for anybody that I wasn't too sure about or whatever. And I'll be SNP till I die. I'm a lifetime member and I pay regularly. I did the jumble sales and everything. When they were all laughing at us about SNP and Patrick Harvey, and Mr. Caravan. I've got everything there, Mr. Caravan. And I did the course on the legal nurse consulting. Not to make money. That's not the name of the game with me. But I've got to protect the nurses. Because what they found out in America was, the the amount of nurses that were just being taken to court, and the way it is in America is so different, you know. You get a job to do, and you can't do the job the way that you want to do the job because it's your time and motion study. You're only getting paid for that amount, so just do that and that's it. You can't work like that. You can't. But of course, none of them know anything about nursing or medicine or anything. So that's why it's two different systems. The other thing is, I hope to do the very best that I can over here to get things back to the way, because you have to live in, and it has to be 6 months where they find out if you've really got it or not. And if you've not got it, you'll go to the wall and that's it. You know, and you need to live in because you need to know where everything is. You need to be part of that. And the other thing is, they talk about the NHS, but, you know, the morals and ethics and etc. And when they actually got the cleaners back in, well, that was okay. But the only point is, it's not the cleaners that we had who were honourable people and that we weren't allowed to give her out to or whatever. There was a mechanism. We were not allowed to call them by their first name. And we were not and it was my responsibility as a junior to see that the toilets were all right. And I thought, well, my granny, who was profoundly deaf, you know, she taught me how to scrub a floor. And I thought, if it's good enough for my granny, it's good enough for me. And I did. And I got everything just like that. And then I said to the two ladies that it was my responsibility to make sure that was clean. And if they could you keep it as clean as this? And if there's any problems with the patients spitting or whatever, you know, just let me know. And I'll attend to them, and I'll be cleaning it up because that's my job. Anything out the body fluids, it's the nurse's job to clean it up. So you see the magnitude. I've got to sell something, and we're so far back because what they did was the doctors, they wanted the money for the machines, and now we've got the machines, and nobody's actually doing anything in the way of examining anybody. And folk that have got stuff that's so misdiagnosed, and what a system we've got, because over there they can sue the ass off you if they want to, but over here it's nigh impossible. And since they took away from people the right for legal aid, you know, for people that needed it, etc., we don't have a democracy anymore. And the Birmingham people, they know that, because the police chief there, this journalist said that he knew that was a wrongful decision, and so the 6 of them got out of jail, but they wouldn't give up who it was that had done it. So how could it be called a democracy? Anyway, I wouldn't want anybody to think ill of me and that I'm not honourable in how I feel about them, or that I would ever just blanket that away or whatever. I look to see what they do for people. And as far as I'm concerned, I teach using the Maslow theory for self-actualization. And as soon as Trump, we didn't want him, we wanted Carly Fiorina because of the drug thing and the fact that she'd had a daughter and that was it. But she was female and couldn't take the lineup of Republicans all going at each other with their balls and everything, the locker room stuff, and he set about them. And he got there, but he wasn't a politician. He was not a politician. He was a businessman. And that was it. And now we've got Trump's name racism, and the people that went through the Holocaust, etc. They're the ones that are worried sick about him and whatever. So chickens are coming home to roost. And half of America voted for Trump. And don't tell me there's no corruption, because if you've got democracy, you've got corruption somewhere. And if you want to keep order, that means that the police, everybody, it can't be that they're just acting on their own, or whatever. You don't have a hold of them. So two different systems, same language, two different peoples, two different approaches to everything. And they hope that's information for you, Callum. And as far as being a journalist, well, I'm enjoying my writing. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And I had to add this bit, and to say thank you to Mr. Pat Kane and to Mr. Harvey, for all the things that you said about Nicola. And I know I sent the magazine to you, and I'll be in touch. And I'm glad to see there was a new Green in, and I enjoyed everything that she had to say. Everything. She just hit the nail absolutely on the head. So as I say, I just thought I would add that. And I've subscribed to you again, of course. And I'm actually subscribing to some of the foreign papers. You know, I got the one about the Figaro, etc., and Le Monde, and I'm also going to do all of the local papers and put everything back out again for people to get to know each other, because we're all different. We're all like different bits of patchwork, etc. We're all Scottish, etc. And we all need to get back together again. And that's the way that it should be. You know, so as I say, let me finish with this now. And just to say thank you.